Freedom Friday, and we're excited to have you. Should we push the live? Because I don't see the camera light on.
It says live.
Yeah? I really want to check. Oh. Right? So we're excited to have you join us. We are starting a new video blog with my amazing friend that can tell I'm so celebrating this process. So Miss Rebecca, share all about you. Not all, but whatever you want to share.
My goodness. I'm a English lecturer at a couple of universities. Not a professor. It's a long story between the two. And I recently wrote a book about recovering from divorce, and that's one of our connections because she pushes me to make it a business. And I have 2 daughters and an adorable dog that you can't see, and a cat that's annoying.
Wait, so there's so much there. So for those of you that don't know, one of the things that we love to do with Freedom Friday is to allow it to be about whatever we choose. And our new series are going to be about interviewing the people we get to work with, the people we are blessed by, the people we are just excited to be partnered with. And Rebecca has been our editor for years. Very thankful for that. We've been friends for a lot of years, and we've learned a lot about each other.
Yes.
And I remember when she was writing the book, it just so inspired me. And she is an amazing author. She's an amazing speaker. You can book her to speak. So I just want to add that to any of the churches, any of the local women's groups. Those are very big.
And I'm more prepared in those situations. Right? This is not good for me.
This is what I always catch you off guard, right? We are literally speaking to you live. And so what I asked her to do today, and she so loves it when I do this to her, is to share about our different perspectives. And we figured out that, we probably need to write about that. And we've decided that we're going to be doing a video blog to start, to just share our journey. And this is the funny part, is we just ended up having a conversation about molasses. Or she joked with me, she goes, "You're so the bullet train and I'm so molasses." And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. And the one thing she has to be careful of, anything she gives me, I just kind of run with.
I need to learn to not be excited about certain things with you,
Right?
because then you'll pick up on that and say, well, what are you going to do about that? And push that. And this blog, etc. project that you have in mind with the molasses and the bullet train is a case in point.
Right?
And I like it, and I am so much the molasses where I need to think through things. The idea has to percolate for a long time, and then I slowly take action one step at a time, and you take the idea and take off. And there's obviously benefits to both.
To both sides, right.
And this project, I'm still thinking about it and not sure what my role is and what does it look like, and she's already got the structure and the plan, and so we have to negotiate.
And that's what every relationship does, right? Is there's a part of perceptions, and so that's what we really want to help people uncover, is there are a multitude of perceptions, and that's what we're going to do the video blog and the writing about. And it's going to be a faith-based, and you said you had a story you wanted to share about that. Do you remember that?
Well, yes. I was reading in a book this morning, and then in Matthew, where it's the whole Bethlehem scene. The wise men are following the star, and they get as far as Jerusalem. They don't get all the way to Bethlehem where Jesus is. And we usually think, they go right to the baby Jesus, but they don't. They have a pit stop in Jerusalem, and then the star isn't there anymore. So they have to stop and go around and ask questions and figure out, why are we here, and where's the baby? And then they find out, prophecy says he's in Bethlehem, so they start going towards Bethlehem, and then the star appears again. So I just think
there's so many pieces of that puzzle, right?
So it's sometimes we feel led to go to a certain place or do a certain thing, and then we get maybe stuck. But that pause isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I like the pauses, and you hate them.
I am learning to appreciate them in a new way. Because you teach me about perspective as I teach you about perspective, and that's how we balance each other out. So ironically, she's talking about pit stops, because one of the things that I've learned in coaching is that a lot of my clients will say to me, one in particular, I come to you and I literally, it's like a pit stop. I literally download, I get rid of all the crap, literally, and figure out what's going on, what's happening, and then you give it back to me in a way that allows me to figure out what's the most important thing. What is the next step? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about. You're so powerful at daily millimeters, daily, the aspects of day-to-day life. And my son was joking in one of our programs recently. He says, my mom's, that visionary, that fantastical thinker, and I get to, attempt to put the little millimeters together. And we learn to surround ourselves with people that help us be purposeful and proactive. And you allow me to be purposeful and proactive and nudging you.
Yes, because I might have an idea, and I might say if blah blah blah, and you say when blah blah blah, and you force me to think, okay, if I want that goal, what steps am I going to take to achieve it, instead of just, oh, that'd be nice someday.
Right.
So you kind of push me to, okay, well, what do you want? And then you have to do something about it.
And go back for a minute, all the way to your book. When you started your book and you were contemplating, even before you started writing your book, that was a whole process, right? Mm-hmm. And your book is now fully published,
right, selling
in 62 out of 100 territories, right?
In the U.S.
In the U.S. And then you're so humble, that's just, we'll be happy to see more, right?
Right.
And we're already planning our summer trip so we can start promoting and doing some fun. She's like, she doesn't even know which part of the piece she was doing yet. I'm a good planner for you. So educate me, let our audience know, what was that journey like for you? Because I got to the gift of watching you go through that and literally prepping, and it's helping me set us up to have the framework and align us on that. So if you were
I didn't feel really qualified to write the book, but I felt very compelled. That I knew, like following the star to Bethlehem, I knew that's where I needed to go, but I didn't know how to do it per se. So I just took the next step and thought about, okay, well, and I went to a writers' conference and learned about the industry and got some feedback on my writing, and then went the second year to make, after I worked on the project, and then I made connections with an agent, and she pitched the book to her publishing house, and then it was accepted. So, which is very unusual because I have no platform and I'm a first-time author. So it was, God's hand was in the whole thing. But I had to take those little steps, and I couldn't imagine too far down the road. You're really good at the vision, and that kind of freaks me out. So I thought, okay, well maybe, but I can see this next step that I need to do. So.
And you've gotten very powerful at making sure that you just stay purposeful. And that when she started the whole video, she's like, she makes me look at this like a business. And and it is a business. I mean, you are an author. That is one of your professions. You're a powerful author. Anyone that's ever read her books knows what a powerful story you can provide, and it's real and it's genuine. And you do have a platform now, which we're really excited about. And yet we're still humble, and we're learning how to help people move forward. So as we move forward into this video blog and helping people see that perspective, what would be the most important thing for you? To help people, some of the things we've discussed about identity and wholeness and stuff like that.
I guess being open-minded to seeing the different perspectives. For example, and this is just a little thing, I was teaching and students were presenting using PowerPoint, and then we had to ask a couple questions about the content, or the students did, and then I asked the students to give 2 positive comments about what went well. And one particular student had this great volume. He had a great voice that filled the room. But it was a small room, and so it was too much volume for me. And I asked the students was he too loud? And they all said no. And so I realized, my perspective was it was too much, just because I like quiet and
peace.
Loud is overwhelming. But my perspective isn't right. It's just one perspective. And so I had to ask questions to find out other people's perspective. And so I think being open-minded.
And the blessing is that's what we're going to be talking about in the future in our video blogs, and we're going to do once a month. even we're going to hold her to it, and we're going to be doing that through Zoom, and we're going to be setting up a webinar so they can come in advance. It'll automatically go to our YouTube. We'll get all the details put together. We'll do this in January. We'll share the details later. And it'll be about learning that perceptions and learning that perception is reality for you. It may not always be the reality for someone else.
Right.
And learning how to step in another person's world as we do. And we've learned to do it pretty well. And we're thankful to be able to share it with everyone else. So we're excited that you listened today. Anything you want to share to close us out?
No, I'm good.
You're so adorable. Okay, Merry Christmas. This is our final Freedom Friday for the year. We are looking forward to seeing you on Freedom Fridays for 2020. We're getting our lineup of our other partners that we're going to be interviewing, and we're just excited to watch 2020 be completely full of abundance. Thanks for joining us.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.